the PlayStation 5 gives us a rundown of the inside. And I'll give you my review of Star Wars Squadrons for the PlayStation VR. Let's talk about it right here on Platform Gamer Podcast, which starts right now. What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast, here for Platform Gamer Podcast. I am your host, Desmond Dukes. And as always, if you like what you will see and hear here on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, turn on that bell for all notifications, and smash that like button. And then if you want to, we would love for you to follow us right there on Twitter and Instagram at Platform Gamer P1. Also, you can hit us up on our Facebook page for all the latest updates and anything that happens with that at Platform Gamer Podcast. So, also, while I'm thinking about it, because I always seem to forget to say this in the beginning, if you want to listen to the podcast in audio form, we are available on Podbean and Spotify. Just look up in the search engine Platform Gamer Podcast and follow us on there. And of course, if you're on YouTube, make sure you leave us a comment. Tell us what you think of the show, how you feel about the topics that we discuss, things like that. We'd love to hear from you guys. So let's get the ball rolling here. So I want to say it was probably about 4 or 5 days ago. They did a PlayStation 5 teardown reveal. And what that did was it gave everybody an opportunity to see just what was inside the PlayStation 5. And this was something that had been speculating throughout the entire time. We got the price. Pre-orders are going crazy. And we've got all this other information, but we didn't get the information we needed to know, which was what is inside the PlayStation. So in that sense, we were able to find out that PlayStation was like, hey, we hear you guys. We got you. So now this is something similar that they did, and it was actually shorter than the one they did for the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now this is much shorter. The PlayStation 4 Pro, I want to say, went about 15 minutes. It was somewhere around 15 minutes or so. But in this one, it was only around 8 minutes. So it's a little bit less, but it still got right to the point of what needed to be done. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that the PlayStation 5 is huge. I mean, this is a huge console. So you figure if you took your PlayStation 4 or even your PlayStation 4 Pro and stacked it up like vertically, take that and then add another, I want to say like 5 inches, and you got the PlayStation 5. So if the PlayStation 4 Pro was here, the PS5 was here. So it was really, it's a huge, big machine. And the other thing that was really interesting was the fact of how easy it was to take off the front and back panel. Now, the one that they displayed that they were showing off was the disc version of the PlayStation 5. They did not show the discless version, or I should say the digital version. So, but I guess there was really no need because the disc version is the one you really want to show off anyway. So they took off not only those 2 white panels. They took them off of both the front and the back, and they showed just how easy it was to get those things off, which I thought was really cool. But this also opens up some very, very cool things that you can do. Possibly put on some new skins, to kind of personalize your PlayStation 5. And I think that was probably why they did that, to make it easier. There was really no screws or anything like that to take off to get to those. You just had to pop the corners up and then slide them out. Same thing with the bottom. Just pop the corners and then slide them out. And it was really, really simple. So that was really impressive. And I really liked that. And like I said, the fact that you can personalize it, put your own skins on it, you can probably get some type of skin stickers, which I'm sure Sony probably will have lined up, that you can probably go into like something that will fit within that realm when you want to, put like a sticker or anything like that on your PS5, or even just buy new plates that you can interchange. So that's going to be really, really interesting. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So at this point, they've taken those spots out. And what they revealed too that I thought was really interesting was that there's dust catchers in 2 sections of the PlayStation 5. One more closer to the fan and one towards closer to the center of the console. Now, what that does is that you can take a vacuum and you can suck that stuff right on out, really helping to keep your console clean. So I think that's going to be really, really awesome. And I really look forward to that. The next part of the reveal that they showed was where you could input a bigger SSD drive in those interchangeable slots. And they showed like 4 or 5 different dots. One that said like 40, 60, and 80. And I believe one said 20. Yeah, 20, 40, 60, and 80. So I thought that was really cool because it shows, and it's just a little section kind of in the corner. So I thought that was really cool because now you can buy an SSD that is compatible with that console, and you can use that to expand, because all of these, both the PS5 digital and the disc versions, will have somewhere around a terabyte, not quite a terabyte. I think it's more like, after all the applications and stuff, you're looking at about 650 to 680. So yeah, about 650 to 680 gig of hard drive space. So with you being able to expand on that, I think that is going to be an absolutely awesome thing to be able to do. Now, how expensive they're going to be, that just depends on what the third parties are willing to dish out as far as price wise on those. I know for some right now, they're going anywhere between 150 and 200. So there may be some that'll be probably a little bit less. Like I said, it just depends on the brand. But the fact that you can put your own SSD drive for an expandable storage is really cool. And that's really helping out the consumer a lot when it comes to that. So then the next thing they showed off was the fact that you could take the fan. Now, the fan itself that they revealed, the fan itself was huge. Like, it was like the PlayStation 4, like if you were laying it flat, the PlayStation 4 Pros is somewhere like this. Whereas the one for the PlayStation 5 is like this. So it's a little bit much bigger. And the fan ports are actually on both sides. So it's not just one single side of the fan where it blows, but you actually have another side too, where it can probably help it externally come out. So that's really going to help as far as really pushing that heat out so the system does not overheat. And that is a good thing. And it helps with the dust issue too, by it pushing around and spinning around with that thick, heavy, like bigger fan. That's going to really, really help in the PlayStation 5. So then we go a little bit deeper into the whole thing. They took out the centerpiece and they showed what looked like a heat shield or some type of shield to keep it from really overheating and getting to a lot of the circuits and components and things like that. So they took that off. Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of the console. So they showed I guess if you want to call it like a motherboard in a sense, it has an area where they have the SSD memory, which looked like it had 3 to 4 different slots, which was really cool. And then it showed the GPU spot, and they showed where the CPU spots were. And then in that one, it showed the 16 gig RAMs that have been going through there. And it almost makes like a circular type cards all the way around it. So it's really going to be pushing out that processing power, which gets us to those teraflops that we've been hearing so much about. And I think that's really, really awesome. And, it's it's really interesting to kind of see the inside of how these inner workings are. But I think one of the most impressive things about the Teardown reveal was the fact that you got to see the liquid, what is it? Oh my God, what was it? The liquid storage chip that is being protected, liquid metal that is protecting some of the areas. You can see the liquid inside of there. Now, my personal thing about that is, I worry that it may break and it'll leak all over and cause a system failure or something. But they had been developing it for over 2 years and trying to perfect it. So they've obviously done something right for them to go ahead to basically give it the green light to be able to do that, which really helps as far as the CPU and GPUs to help keep those cool with that liquid metal. Now, going a little bit deeper into the console, once those things are taken out, now there's an upgraded Bluetooth and an upgraded Wi-Fi signaler, which is really, really cool. So now this gives the impression that, you can have a much stronger Wi-Fi signal. The Bluetooth can probably be able to read things a lot faster and easier. So that's really, really awesome. They showed off, this was before all of this. I don't know how I missed this, but when they were taking the system apart in the beginning, they showed the different USB ports. Now there's one that's going to be a USB-C spot, and then which will do up to 10 gig speeds. And then you have a USB type A, and you have that in 3 locations along with the HDMI port plus your Ethernet cable. So it's really not a lot of like plugs, and of course your AC plug, but it's not really a lot on the console for as big as it is. It's really just, it's simple. It doesn't have a whole bunch of different things to plug in, like in like 30 different spots or nothing like that. So that was really cool. But anyway, going back to the inside of it. So once all of that stuff was shown off and removed, now we got to see what they call the heat sink. This is by far the biggest heat sink I've ever seen. Now they have them in the PlayStation 4, but it still doesn't do it well enough. You can see those on like various other, not just consoles, but other like PCs and like, those things that really help keep the system cool. This thing took up like half the console. I mean, this thing was massive, which explains about all of the leaks and things we've been hearing about the PlayStation 5, even while running, was absolutely cool the entire time. And, that's really awesome. Oh, why, hello. What is going on? Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. So shout out to the Luffy. I like that. That's what's up. So anyway, but yes, it's really, really awesome for us to really get to see that heat sink, because with us seeing that, I mean, it was huge. You've seen the pipes kind of in the center, but then you have all of these different like graters all the way around it. I mean, it was massive. And so the console was able to stay cool the entire time from what we've been hearing about the leaks. Like they've had like people doing gameplay for several hours and it still did not get loud at all. And I am really, really looking forward to that. So then we got to see the disk drive. Now the disk drive, which is the high quality grade Blu-ray disk drive, which actually is protected by stainless steel, which is good because that's really going to help. And they've got something on the inside of that which helps prevent any kind of dust to really get in there and mess it up or mess up the laser eye or anything like that. So that was really cool to see. And then on top of that, with that being there, it really shows just how tough that disk drive is going to be, which actually cuts down on the vibration as well. So when that thing starts spinning, or you got it next to your, subwoofer or something, it's not trying to make this disk jump or skip or anything like that. It's keeping everything stationary. It's going to continue to run it smooth. And I think with it being put, especially where they put it, is really, really awesome. Now, we did see in this reveal, and you can check out the reveal yourself on PlayStation's YouTube channel. There's two versions that I saw, even though they were the same ones. One was being done in Japanese, but there was no subtitles. That was the first one that I saw, so I didn't catch everything. So I actually had to turn my my closed caption on. But there is one that Sony did that was the same thing, but they actually put caption over it. So in case you didn't want to turn it on or anything like that. So just be mindful of that. But I highly recommend you guys check out the video. They showed the power supply. Every PlayStation 5, from what I can tell, will come standard with that stand. So that's going to be really cool. And you could actually take the stand off. You can unscrew it, save the screw, put the little back piece in there to cover that up. And then there's a thing that you can turn on there to lock it in place so you don't lose a screw. And then you can attach it to the side. So if you want to lay it horizontally, you can. So now you get the option of doing it vertically or horizontally using that stand. And I think that is going to be really, really cool. But, they took off the sides where the fan were, and it looked like it's going to be a really hard plastic. So it's not going to be easy to break, because a lot of people were concerned about the corners of the PS5 either getting chipped or broke or something like that. But I think with the amount of strength that they put into those, and I think that's like that super high grade hard plastic, I think it's really going to hold into place. And no matter what you do to it, it's probably going to hold up very, very well. So that was pretty much the reveal on that sense. It was a great, great reveal. I highly recommend you check out the PlayStation reveal. I will put the link to that reveal in the description below here on YouTube. So that way, when you want to check it out for yourself, you can see it. And he had it all laid out, all nice, and you can see every single part. By the way, that console does not take a lot of screws. I noticed that in the PlayStation 4 Pro, there are screws everywhere. But on this, I've seen them maybe take off probably 5 or 6 screws, and that was it that I seen anyway. So it looks like everything as far as interchangeable and getting into it and like really helping keeping your console clean is really going to be great. Now, I do highly recommend that every 3 to 5 months, well, I should say 3 to 6 months. I would probably say every 3 months. But every 3 months, you should go through and clean your console. Use a microfiber cloth to pull off all that dust and stuff that's going to be on the outside edges. If you can get inside of your console, that's going to be highly recommended to get in there and kind of do a nice wipe down of it. I do recommend that you do use the air can spray. You can use that. And I also like to use alcohol, the 90% rubbing alcohol. I think that really also helps very well. I've used that plenty of times when I've cleaned out my PlayStation 4 or any of my family members' PlayStation 4s. So it's really well maintained. So the PS5 is very well maintained, and that way you'll get a lot of life and longevity from your console. So, but you guys tell me what you think. Did you guys check out the reveal? And, for those of you that did, and if you enjoyed the reveal, tell me your thoughts about it and how you felt about the reveal. I thought it was very well done. It was very, very fascinating to see. And I am definitely looking forward to getting my hands on my PlayStation 5. So that is that. Moving right along, I had an opportunity to check out Star Wars Squadrons when it became available. So I went on ahead and bought it, checked it out, and I've got to say, Star Wars Squadrons is super fun. Now, the cool thing is that you can play this game with or without VR. It is cross-platform, which is nice. Not saying like, you can cross-platform with, I should say it's cross-play. It's cross-play. So, because I was playing with some guys that had PCs and I was playing with them. And then there were a couple of us that were playing on the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4. But it is cross-play. The game itself, now you get a choice of 8 different ships. You get 4 from the Republic and then 4 from the Empire. Now, if I was doing this game, I would have done more. There's so many different races, so many different ships. It would be great to have like a 50 ship roster that you can choose from, and a bunch of different stories to go along with it. I think that would have really helped, but I think this was kind of a test run to see what it was like for the game to work, which I don't see why, but it is what it is. But I've been playing it only on my PlayStation VR, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It really makes you feel like you're flying in an X-Wing or a Y-Wing or a little scout ship, a TIE fighter. It's just really, really cool. And the interesting thing about it is you get this sense of what it's really like to fly one of those. Now, I've mainly been flying X-Wings because I love the X-Wing. But it's cool because your ship can be upgraded by using there's no microtransactions as far as that part goes, but it's all like you get in-game credits and stuff that you can use towards like adding things onto your ship, like little trinkets, or you could use it to upgrade your ship, better engines, better weapons, better shields, stuff like that. But there's always a give and take. So it's kind of this balancing act of how do I increase everything without decreasing anything? And I'm still trying to figure that out. But nevertheless, it's really fun. I've been mainly doing like the fleet versus AI battles, and that's been really fun. You got this huge, massive Star Destroyer, and then you've got the 2 battle cruisers that you have to take out, and then you have a raider that comes in to try and stop you too. So you're doing this, and then you get up to 5 people to play with you as a squad. And that's really, really cool because you guys can talk and communicate using like your headsets or anything like that. And then just really working towards your goal of taking it out. The game gets hard. And we were playing it on easy. And when I first started playing it, it was hard, especially getting to the Star Destroyer because I was dying every like 2 seconds when I got close to it. But it's cool because you can adjust whether you want it to, more power to the engines, you can put more power to the weapons or more power to the shields. So however you want to set that up, and you can, switch it on the dime of how you want to do it. Targeting system's pretty good. I like the targeting system, depending on what ones you have set up as far as like rockets or like special sinking missiles or like photons or something like that. But you can upgrade those, and the lock-ons are very easy. Figuring out how to fly the ships took me a minute because I had to really understand how it was flew. Now, compared to the one VR mission that came with Battlefront 1, that one, killing TIE fighters and that one was like super easy. Like half the time you didn't even think you were locked onto them at all. You were just shooting and then you were hitting something. And this one, it's a lot more difficult. It requires a lot more strategy and how you want to do that. So that's really, really awesome. Now, the thing you got to remember is you have to, when you're playing, you can do ranked and unranked matches when you're doing those, which is really cool. Now, in campaign mode, you play basically as a rookie pilot. Now, you can customize your character, which is kind of nice. You can customize your character. You can actually add different vocal sounds to them, helmets, their clothing, their flight suits, all types of things. So that's really cool. It's not like super in depth. It's kind of just a paint by numbers type customization. So it is what it is. I'm okay with it. But I haven't gotten too far in the campaign because I've been too busy doing multiplayer. But in the campaign mode, you actually start off as somebody from the Empire, and then you work your way into going into the rebellion. So the storylines are really interesting. Now, I don't know if those storylines will change depending on like the type of character you want to be. Like you could probably stay with the Empire or you can convert over to the rebellion. So that's one thing I'm still trying to figure out. But for the most part, that what I've seen, you're kind of just being whoever during the story mode. But the sounds in this game, the sounds are very, very well done. I truly do wish that it was for like the VR2. So that way we can get all of the high def graphics that this game deserves. But it is what it is. Graphically, it's still very good. It's not super polished, but polished enough that it's satisfying to see. Okay, so the other thing that I've noticed too about this game is the level of detail within the universe that you're in. You know, it's really good because you got these different nebulas and different things out there as you know as the background part. Now I've done some of the training and you're actually flying around in like this scrapyard of like Empire Star Destroyers that have been destroyed and they're kind of just floating in space. I found that to be a great tutorial and learning tool as far as learning how to, because there is a learning curve to figuring out how to fly these different ships because it's kind of weird at first because you're having to move with one and then the other, and then you don't want to push up and then mess around and accelerate when you don't want to decelerate. I mean, you can customize the button layouts. I haven't done that yet. I kind of just shifted from default to like a different type of set, like a standard setting, which seems to be working out pretty good for me. But you can customize the button configuration. But I like using that just to learn how to fly. I probably spent about an hour just flying in between stuff, you know, rocks and Star Destroyers, scrap parts, and you know, flying through like holes and things like that, just to learn the flying mechanism. I've gotten pretty good at it now. So I've spent some time with it, really, really enjoyed it, but I highly recommend you use that as a tool to help you learn how to fly in this game. Because if you just jump right into this game, you will probably die at least half a dozen times on your own just from crashing or accelerating and decelerating the wrong way. Yeah, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. So that part takes some time. The characters in this game aren't bad. The characters, they're not bad. I still think they could be a little bit better. But I think for what we got as far as understanding the characters so far that I've played in the campaign mode, I've only seen like 3 or 4 characters. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So right now, I definitely think this game is worth a look. It's definitely worth playing. I don't think they have a demo or anything out. I'm hoping that EA would be nice enough to put out a demo for people to try the game out who either have VR or even if you don't have VR. That is one thing that I'd like to see more of, is games that could be put in VR or non-VR and just slap them on the same game. And sales for the game actually right now have done pretty well. And I hope it continues. This would be a nice stepping stone to getting more VR games, top tier VR games that I would like to see. So, but on a scale of 1 to 5, right now, I'm going to give Star Wars Squadrons a 4. And I'm giving it a 4 because it's got great sound. It's got, you know, a great, it seems like it's going to be a really, really interesting story. I do like the flying mechanics. I like the fact that you can upgrade weapons. You can customize your characters. You can customize your ships. You know, Those are the things that really, and gameplay wise, it's just really fun. Just a really, really fun game. And the only negatives that I really have for this game is that, one, I wish there were more ships, and it would have been really cool. I'm hoping that they'll come out with a DLC with more ships and possibly the Millennium Falcon. If you could fly the Millennium Falcon or even Boba Fett's ship, I think that would be really awesome. And if for good measure, I would throw in the ship from the Mandalorian just to throw that in there. You know, I think that would be a nice addition, considering that the Mandalorian is white hot right now. Why not be able to fly that ship? So, but that was one of the negatives. I feel it. I need more ships. I need more ships to fly. That the learning curve on flying the ships, it's not bad. It's not bad, but every now and then you'll still make a mistake. And even on easy, I find it rather difficult. So I think those are just some of the things that I had an issue with. But, you know, maybe it's just me nitpicking or whatever. But nevertheless, right now, the game gets a solid 4. And I do recommend this game for anybody who is a Star Wars fan or even a non-Star Wars fan that's just looking for something to do, something fun to play. This game is definitely fun. It will definitely keep you interested for a while. You know, give it a shot. And then you guys tell me what you think. Have you played this Star Wars game? Have you played Star Wars Squadrons? Let me know in the comments section below and tell me your thoughts on the game. Well, that is all the time I have. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on Platform Gamer Podcast. Once again, make sure that if you like what you've seen here today, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on that bell for all notifications, smash that like button, and leave us a comment. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Platform Gamer P1 and on Facebook at Platform Gamer Podcast. Also, if you want to listen to our podcast in audio form, whether you're driving to work or working out or whatever, cleaning the house, work or cooking, you know, you want a podcast to listen to, look no further than to listen to us right here on Spotify and Podbean. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a good night. See you later.